The Himalayas that lie closest to the stars stand silent and strong. A land of extremes, of promise and risk, solitude and unity. A glorious gift from nature. As long as one can remember, man has only sought from these mountains. However, a side of them is only known to those who have truly lost and found themselves in its depths. This is one such story of 7 courageous souls who set out to seek their own. But was it really the mountains and the forces of nature they were up against, or merely themselves? It takes an Odyssey to question all the answers.
Brett, Antoine and me, we've done a lot of bivouac flying around the Indian, Pakistani, Nepali, Himalayas.
I spent a lot of time in Uttaranchal. I flew some places deep back in Uttaranchal. I trek a lot of Hinduist place, very famous Hinduist place in Uttaranchal, where there is a temple, where there is sources of the Ganges.
I've flown everywhere from Pakistan to Bhutan along this range. And, of course the idea is, how long of a section can you start from and complete the whole thing?
Basically, the idea now that we know few places all along the way is to connect all these places.
Now that I've developed the skills to be able to fly safely in this terrain, to be able to land in different places, to be able to camp and survive along the way.
That's a dream. That's a lifetime experience, clearly.
How far can we go? How far can we go, and what can we do?
The idea is to cover this 1,300 kilometers from Himachal Pradesh, Uttaranchal, Nepal, till Sikkim in India.
It's a dream. The 3 friends have chased for more than a year. Antoine Lawrence, Mike Langle, Brad Sanders will paraglide the length of the Himalayas in a journey of survival and self-discovery. It will push the boundaries of human flight and human endurance. This Odyssey will challenge them like never before.
Yeah, it's going to be quite challenging, the Himalayan Odyssey, like crossing places where there is no landings, and so we might have to land in like tricky places, and then make our way up back to takeoff.
For example, Western Nepal, once we will have passed from India to Western, condition and mountain are getting a little bit more difficult. It's more wild, less people, less road access, for us less rescue possibility.
There are bears, there are black bears and there are leopards and there are tigers.
East of Kathmandu, the center of Nepal, when you get into eastern Nepal, nobody's flown here. And it's very jungly. The valleys are very wide. It's going to be really tricky terrain.
I think the less you worry, the less will happen. So I don't think much about dangers.
As word of the adventure gets out, 4 more pilots join in. Eric Reed, Oriol Fernandez, Dilip Kotecha, and Sanjay Pendurkhar. They come together with a thirst to test their limits on the roof of the world, pushing their limits of skill, fate, and team spirit.
For me, it's the more I travel in this route and the more I experience this sensational journey, I would like to surrender, and let go, because it's totally wild. You're not just flying, you're surviving in the wild, you're living off the land, you're surrendering to mother nature. So this kind of flying is not a flying, it's a pilgrimage for me.
Preparation begins in Bir, on the western edge of the Himalayas. For the next month, the men will live like monks, away from the routine world and focused only on the mental and physical challenges of each moment. Although they are a team, the only person a pilot can rely on is himself. Anything he might need to survive must fit into a single rucksack.
2 t-shirts, 1 pair of underwear, 2 pairs of socks. That's it.
Noodle, that is soya chunk. Baby food, that's tea bag, mix of milk powder and sugar. It's about 5 kg altogether.
It's a pressure-sensitive altimeter that's mounted onto my helmet. GPS will tell me my position. This is line-of-sight radio that we use to communicate. A satellite phone, spot satellite tracking device. Solar panel with a couple of adapters here to be able to charge several of these devices at once.
Every kilogram affects the way the men can live and fly.
My total weight is like 26.5 kilogram, and I not even have water within that, and plus my body weight is going to be like 93.4. It means my wing is going up to 80 kilogram maximum weight, so I'm gonna fly it 13-14 kilogram over the top.
With these basic instruments, some food, some water, a wing and a prayer, the men are ready for their journey, and the Himalayan Odyssey begins.
Easiest form of free flight in the world.
Our first point, which is Dharamsala. Dharamsala, where the Dalai Lama lives.
The first day, the team stopped at Hobbiton.
Smooth conditions, but good fly.
First stop landing, first bivouac night now.
While a few stop at Tatapani to seek blessings from the local god. And take a dip in the natural hot springs.
Steam bath.
Yes, full one.
Beyond this, the landings and camps could become more uncertain. But after such a good first day, the team is relaxed and optimistic.
Okay, so day 2. We've just taken off from Hobbiton about 2:30 p.m. My pants are halfway down because I'm trying to take a pee and film. Everybody talk on the radio?
Today's landing sets the tone for the rest of the journey. The men debate whether to stop at the first place high enough for the next day's takeoff, or to cover more distance.
We're going to try to push on to the other side, another 10K or so. I think this is going to work, and this is going to buy us a lot of time. Not stopping at Prosher Lake today. कमरा है तो हम लोग वहाँ सोएंगे बड़ा है कोई कमरा
आलू मटरारी खेती हमारी आलू मटरारी खेती हमारी आपुआ साग माणी हो आपुआ साग माणी देश शोभला हिमाचल मारा झंडा चमकू सरगेरा तारा देश शोभला.
Brad, Eric and Mike have been able to top land together, but the others have landed elsewhere and must trek for hours to catch up.
Guest house.
They have loads of goats, actually they have thousands of goats, you know, they have not only the main ones, like Shiva and all of them, they have local gods, and then every house has got its own mandir and their own certain god is living in there.
We are walking up the mountain, everybody is behind. Okay.
By morning, the team is together again. A local man has helped guide the last few pilots to the village.
Our takeoff, day number 4.
Antoine and Oriol have top landed. Mike and Eric are just about to join them. Sanjay and Dilip didn't get out of the valley, and so I don't know where they are right now.
Sanjay, which is escorted by two vultures.
And Dilip? Where's Dilip? Anybody know?
As the sun sets, the men have not been able to establish any contact with Dilip. At this point, no news is good news. Hoping for the best, the team relaxes, drinking local wine and toasting new friends late into the night.
Good for wake up, no?
Okay.
Let it go. This is just such a lovely kitchen. They do this expert job with the wood, you know? To bring the wood in like this to control the heat. If she wants to slow the heat down, she pulls the wood apart a little bit. She's making for us paronta, which are flour mixed with vegetable and potato. And of course the chai to go with everything, a sweet milky tea.
We had the visit of cops this morning, and yesterday who saw us land. Basically it's like forest land, so we are not allowed to land here.
Late in the afternoon, the cops are back. It's the most activity their district has seen in months.
He was asking for penalty, which is kind of official bakshish, and some of the locals say that that was not nice for the picture of the village, and to take some money, like culture is more important for them, and they wanted to have this nice vibe going on.
But the locals guard their guests, and the officials leave empty-handed. In return, the team invites the few locals who spoke on their behalf to the takeoff point, but the whole village shows up. Preparations assume a festive air.
It's quite windy. We are 50 kilometers from Yamunotri, which is the goal.
Preparándonos para ir a Yamunotri.
Strong wind.
With strong, fluctuating winds, so many bystanders only increase the chance something can go wrong. One misstep could damage the glider's lines.
But it's also stressful. Like, I'm stressed out about the flight.
But the men manage to take off without mishap. They can only hope their flight will be as smooth. They head to Yamunotri with a hope to hear from Dilip. But by the end of the day, their luck runs out. In the lead, Brad and Eric push to cross one more valley, misjudging a looming cloud, leaving the team behind them in danger.
I was a bit pissed off with Brad and Eric at this point. I called in radio a few times to say, come on guys, it's looking horrible, the sky, we really need to land before it's too late. And for me, it's already too late. And I'm struggling to keep my glider flying properly, and I'm starting to scare myself. I just wanted to be on the ground.
Yeah, I made a mistake about the cloud, and
An outright disaster turns into a controlled crash. Through Antoine's skill and force of will, the close call leaves them all shaken.
It's limit. Not again like that, guys, not again. 8 o'clock, day 7. 2,600 meters, the wind is blowing outside. We have covered 250 kilometers from Bir, so 300 from Dharamsala. We still have 200 kilometers to cover to reach the border of Nepal. We are just, that's the Gangotri range, and the source of the Ganges is just behind us, and the source of the Yamuna river, so the two oldest rivers in India. Mike and Oriol are 8 kilometers more west than us. The goal today is going to be Chopta. Chopta is a small village at 3,500 meters high, and hopefully we can get water and food.
Their evening at Chopta is subdued. They finally have news of Dilip, but it's not good. A few days before, strong winds drove his glider into a vertical rock face. With no time to throw his reserve parachute, Dilip crashed hard, breaking his 9th vertebrae. Eventually, local farmers found him, and for 2 days Dilip lay on the floor of their hut, immobile, with no medical care. Finally, evacuation was arranged, and the Indian military rescue team was on its way. Many have surrendered themselves in this sport, where accidents are common and unforgiving. Dilip has been one of the fortunate to have survived such a serious crash.
About his condition, we had problem with the back or not, and finally had to go on, and I think that was the right decision in the end. We couldn't actually help much.
Dismayed, but not discouraged, the team pushes on. But the weather is rough and forces them to land soon after takeoff and seek shelter with a local couple.
Show me the two wrists together. Yeah, a little bit. Shit ourselves. I shit myself.
200 meters.
Only 19 kilometers, and I'm fucking looking for a top landing.
मैं भालू
आप बालू देखा था?
नहीं वो समझाएंगे आपको
वो क्या बोल रही है मालूम है आप मेरे को if you show me in the TV no people will think
हम
this is
जंगल
not
में
lady this is a bhalu
But it's not a bear the men will have to worry about. Many evenings have been spent in the wild on this journey, but tonight holds a special threat. A tiger has been spotted in the area.
Even today, when the goats came here, they got chased from a tiger, and he's sleeping always outside with his gun, and sometimes he's got to shoot to chase the tiger away.
But I think if we stay close to him, we don't have to be worried.
In spite of the tiger, the men passed the night warmed by the fire and the company. When morning dawns, all the animals and the team are accounted for, but the team is down by one more pilot.
Pendu is gonna leave us. No, Pendu.
Sanjay views his sprained wrist as not a bad injury, but possibly a warning from nature itself, and respectfully accepts this as a way his journey had to conclude. Brushes with outsiders are rare on these isolated mountaintops. It's unlikely these men or the villagers who helped them will ever meet again. One evening of a shared fire, a meal and a laughter can be enough to touch them for a lifetime.
So, yeah, let's hope for a little less dramatic day today. No? Yay! Movie! It's a little a bench here, so the air is not coming in smooth. So we're using the super secret Himalayan technique of using the small children to hold the leading edge up. You don't even need to speak Hindi for this, you just point. Very helpful, very helpful. They'll help me clear the lines if it gets stuck too. Great.
I just stopped landing here, 3,250. Come on, start it, start it, start it! Yes! Woohoo! Yeah, super!
Very long flight today, eh?
Oh, back together.
The days start to blur together. Fly, land, camp, repeat. Sometimes the team is separated, sometimes together. Eventually, a run of good weather lets them make up for lost ground, leaving them time to unwind.
Yes! Yoo-hoo! Very good.
Looks like a beautiful day.
It is the Badrinath peak, 6th peak, 7,139. And on the left it's Nilkant, 7,100. And a little bit farther behind we have Kamet Peak, which is 7,750. Overlooking the Valley of Flower, do pilgrims of Badrinath, in Kum Sahib, which is the pilgrim center of the Sikh.
The last flight in India, maybe. Yeah, it can be the last one. And then go to Pendurkhar and cross the border to Nepal.
The team is flying over some of India's highest and most sacred mountains, thus making this flight very special for them.
One day together, one day apart. Any day that begins or ends with the sighting of a lammergeier is a good day. Those are my favorite vultures. They carry bones up really high and then drop them on rocks and break them to get the bone marrow.
team arrives at the Nepal border. After weeks of solitude, the bustle and noise of this border town is invigorating.
मेरा चैन वैन सब उजड़ा कजरा रे तेरे कारे कारे नैना कजरा रे तेरे कारे कारे नैना ओ कजरा रे तेरे कारे कारे नैना कजरा रे तेरे कारे कारे नैना ओ मेरे नैना जुड़वा नैना ओ कजरा रे तेरे कारे कारे नैना.
Very good at what they do.
Passport.
Thank you.
Welcome to Nepal. It is day number 15. We are in Nepal on the bus. Going to find the first takeoff to start.
After 2 days on the ground, the group is longing to be in the air. The team spots a potential takeoff and decides to trek their way up.
To show us it's good, and we're closer to the big mountains now, so maybe with 1 or 2 hops we'll be in that nice clean air mass, and maybe this will be working okay.
But the conditions appear to be barely flyable, and there's a strange feeling in the air. It's enough to spook Antoine.
I mean, I'm okay to try, but I don't want to scare myself, if it's really a horrible condition.
You, me also,
For the first time, the team is divided in spirit rather than location. Brad decides to move forward alone, while the others wait for better conditions. To some, this clashes with the purpose of the expedition, where unanimity is unspoken, understanding when flying as a team.
Yeah, this is some crazy stuff, man. Trying to fly with a bunch of people in these kind of conditions. That's my first
Using a reserve parachute is the ultimate reversal for a pilot, but a forced confrontation with the frailty of human life and skill is a high price to pay. And yet, it has been a lucky escape. With no injuries to himself or his glider, Brad survives with only mental scars. The other men know nothing of Brad's accident. Still a day behind him and flying as a team, they have had an easier time. As large crowds of people gather, the sport now becomes theatre.
This is day 17. We are 20 Ks, 25 Ks after the first takeoff, and there is so many people.
But the company doesn't last long in this part of the world. In a matter of hours, the pilots go from center stage to a solo act.
the people I met yesterday that helped me, and then I stayed with them, and thinking about their lives, you know, and here like I'm just skipping through, you know, flying by. But it's pretty awesome the way you see the world sometimes, flying and having these adventures.
The weather takes a turn for the worse. Strong winds leave the pilot struggling to stay on course and cover ground. Each day the flight becomes a grueling endeavor.
Suffering, too much suffering.
The conditions didn't look good this morning, and now they've improved. So I'm gonna take off. Damn it. It's hard to film. There's a lot of emotions going on that are hard to document. Let's look at the sky. That's the way I want to go.
What a flight, man! And we're all together again, huh? Yes, man! Yeah. Cool.
How is Bradland?
Finally, after 4 days apart, the team is together again.
What? No.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
You threw the reserve.
Yeah, I lost the wing. I ended up with riser twists. I was too low to the ground.
No one expected Brad to have an easy time, but the team is shocked to learn about his crash. Teamwork is crucial at this point, and a valued lesson in team spirit is uncovered.
Brad attempted 2-3 times to pass this valley and couldn't, and every time he had to turn back, come back to the ridge, find another lift and try again. And the third time we arrived. So we met again all together, and all together we were a group. Suddenly we started discussing again the way, and I'm like, okay, I want to pass by the right. Eric is like, oh yeah, look at this ridge, it's looking nice, okay, I lead the way there. Suddenly, all together as a group again, communicating together, we passed the valley, where Brad couldn't pass for 3 times when he was alone. And then we top landed together. And after all these 3 days, which were difficult, all apart, then we were together again, which was absolutely magic.
Day 21, somewhere in western Nepal, 200 kilometers from Pokhara. Nervousness and stress become a natural part of life here. A little drier today, but I'm hopeful for the conditions. Maybe we'll make it to Dorpatan today.
Western Nepal has taken a toll on the entire group. Team has been scattered by weather again. Mike and Oriol bombed out in the valley just after takeoff. Brad and Eric in another, while Antoine has top landed and is alone. On the ground, the danger increases and night is falling fast. Antoine must set up camp quickly.
3,500 meters. I'm alone. That's the first day I'm alone. I'm a bit feeling like into the wild. You know, I'm like listening all the noise around, all the birds, all the things, and it's really feeling a little bit like into the wild. And for sure, what is important is to share things with people.
By morning, some are exhausted more than others. Mike and Oriol, deterred by the idea of another flight, decide to leave for Pokhara by road. The rest of the 3 men regroup the next day, ready for their next flight. but the weather does not play sport to them. However, they are happy to be united and relax the rest of the day.
Cheers.
There are many once-in-a-lifetime moments on an adventure like this. As warm as the climate is cold, the locals have welcomed the men from the skies at every stop. Overnight, the temperamental skies over western Nepal prove plans are made to be broken. The team senses the cold front in the skies as the wind gets too strong for flying, and a quick aerial route to Pokhara is dismissed. The team must trek many days now to cover the same distance. The team treks to Dorbatan, reaching 4 days behind schedule. From there, it's just one small hop to Pokhara by air, where friends and family are eagerly waiting.
I remember this flight, and I kind of went on competition mode. I wanted to be the first. Usually Brad and Eric are always pushing, and this time I pushed. This time I pushed because my wife was there at the landing and I wanted to be first to arrive there. And I did it. I made an incredible fast flight these days. It's so amazing to see how your mental attitude can push. It can push you technically and can make you very performant.
Pokhara, second largest city of Nepal, sits at the base of the Annapurna range. 3 of the world's highest mountain ranges lie 30 kilometers off the city, thus making it an ideal base camp for adventurers globally. For Antoine and Eric, Pokhara is an oasis of good food and comfortable beds. For Brad, who lives in Nepal, part of every year is a homecoming. Brad works with an organization called Himalayan Raptor Rescue, where the birds are trained to fly with paragliders. It is a rare meeting between man and his inspiration.
This is Kevin. Kevin is a male Egyptian vulture. He's 4 years old. Well, parahawking is a word that we actually made up. Okay. No one had really trained birds to fly with paragliders before we tried it. Now it's a lot easier doing it on a tandem because you can you can control the glider and the passenger can concentrate on what's going on with the bird. And also it's all about sharing the experience with somebody else. So it's a lot more rewarding sharing the whole parahawking experience with a passenger than it is just flying around solo. So we follow him and he guides us to where the thermals are. And then as soon as he's taken us up into some lift or we feel like he needs a reward, then we blow a whistle, we put some food on our arm and he comes in and lands on the glove, and then he goes off and finds the next thermal.
After a epic flight to Pokhara and a couple of rest days in Pokhara, the conditions have gone super stable and we are stuck.
Antoine, Brad and Eric are impatient to set off on the next part of the journey, while Oriol and Mike have decided to stay behind, contemplating the journey ahead as much riskier. They feel fortunate to have experienced the journey this far. After more than a week in Pokhara, finally the weather opens up and the team takes flight into uncharted skies.
3,400 meter base, which is pretty good, better conditions. Totally different place than West Nepal.
Oh, it's fast. Nice.
Out of Pokhara, back to flying.
Exactly. Yeah, we done 50 Ks.
Yeah, that was great. Yeah, slow conditions to start.
Yeah, but nice, and that was smooth. You know, because if we had super strong condition after 1 week eating and resting and all,
Yeah.
we would have been.
I just needed something.
You know,
Back at the mountains.
A smooth start in eastern Nepal puts everyone in a good mood. Even the wind seemed playful.
Oh, fucking no, come on, all my
We are passing the Kathmandu Valley from the north side. We can't see what's on the next ridge until we get to the ridge before. I can't. It's a whole different kind of flying now.
The flying gets trickier as they pass through lower mountains and wider valleys, while a slightly warmer, wetter climate means visibility is poor and top landings are difficult to spot. Another bad landing has left a long gash on Brad's glider. He's grounded until it can be repaired. After a number of setbacks and crashes, Brad has now reached a breaking point.
Yeah, I have to tell Antoine and Eric in a little bit, but my heart's not in it anymore. It's just, it's too much, huh? At times, I mean, if you're into it, it's okay, but there's too many voices in my head right now just saying, enough, let it be. Had a good run. I just really don't want it to take the energy out of Eric and Antoine. But I can't ignore when there's this strong voices saying, you know, stop, it's too risky.
However, the local tailor mends the glider with an impressive seam that helps restore Brad's frame of mind. But just in case the stitches don't hold, a blessing from the villagers' holy cow can't hurt.
coastline than I intended, so maybe after this climb I'll try to come back to the south.
There's no mercy this close to the end of the expedition. Every flight is a risk. Every landing is a crash. The relentless preoccupation between achieving their goal and survival strains the team.
The communication was not anymore a teamwork. We were fighting into the team for leading or choosing the options, and then one day Brad bombed out voluntarily because he didn't want to be with us anymore.
The next morning brings disappointing news. Brad, who landed apart from Antoine and Eric that night before, is ready to pack it in. The mental strain has become too much.
Yeah, we just got a text message from Brad.
Definitely some difficulties the last few days, kind of some group things, maybe some me things.
You know, he's obviously bummed out, not in a good mood, so.
Going to be hard to summarize any of this.
I hope he's not on the bus to Kathmandu already.
But, you know, to expect that we're all going to get along on this through all these things for, you know, over 40 days is pretty crazy, so maybe we're just having a little bit of a low moment.
We were all very tense. You cannot spend 40 days plus always with the same people, sleeping together, or pretty close sometimes, flying together, discussing the way together, fighting each other, without any tension.
The night is quiet as Eric and Antoine come to terms with Brad's decision to quit. But a renewed hope rises with the sun.
Yesterday I quit, and today I started again. Why? That would be hard to explain.
For the day number 40, starting towards Sikkim, only 250 km from here to Sikkim.
Hello.
Good. Nice takeoff.
Though the journey so far has been overwhelming for each of them, the men have reunited again to achieve their goal. But the winds are now more uncertain than ever. The strongest challenge in their experiences is now at test.
Day 42, top crashing in Nepal.
Good morning, Nepal!
I mean, we can't make a plan and say this is what's going to happen, this is how things are going to work out, and that's always the enjoyable thing. Usually what's enjoyable is when things don't work out the way we plan them, you know? This morning we got a text from Graham. He says, all airports in England and much of Europe closed. Volcano in Iceland spewing ash has brought chaos to skies.
As the skies over Europe darken with ash, airborne civilization is brought to its knees. But to the locals who live and die by these mountains, even more than a team, this natural calamity is just one more act of God, atop of the world's tallest mountains, where a meal is whatever you coax from the ground. The people surrender to nature every day. It is a lesson the outside world is still rediscovering.
That's what I've learned from being in Asia, is you're around people whose lives are so uncertain, who are so powerless over their lives, and they're totally unstressed. Where in the US or Europe, people have all this supposed, influence or control over their lives, and they're totally stressed out.
As if in solidarity, the skies in eastern Nepal have turned hostile too. Paragliding is nearly impossible now, and the team knows better than to fight it. After 48 days of elation and uncertainty, thrill and survival, the end is different from what they imagined. But in a sport where control is limited and surrendering a prerequisite, success isn't necessarily measured in achievements. It is said that when the hearts are humble and the pursuit is pure, the Himalayas are known to respond, and thus unfolds this Odyssey, a gradual internal journey that will enrich their hearts and strengthen their souls over time. While these mountains live to tell another tale, another day, of the many more who will arrive to conquer nothing but themselves.